Is Kobe all right? Is just usually he even does
That's
the
a good,
optional.
good observation. He normally takes the optionals, but that's why it's an optional. He didn't take it, and he'll be playing tonight.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Tonight begins a stretch of 7 straight divisional games. You talk about segments a lot. Is this kind of a de facto segment when you play so many against the Pacific?
Well, we've only played 3, which is actually quite alarming. I never realized that until we really dug in and took a look at it. But that means we've got a lot of schedule left against opponents that can affect our standings and we can affect theirs. So segment, yes. It's a strange segment because it's going to be broken up with a break. I think we're in a little bubble right now of 4 games, and that's a finish line for everybody in the league, and that's our target. So we're only going to worry about this next week or 10 days, whatever it is, and obviously play better than we did at home the other night.
Todd, are there different challenges now, like with the holiday kind of coming up, that you got to kind of?
Yeah, there is. You know, you could feel it. It changes a little bit. There's stuff going on, important stuff for families, and sometimes that takes priority. You've got to go to a little one's Christmas concert. You've got to pick your parents up at the airport. There's nothing wrong with that. That's called life. And 32 other teams or 31 other teams are going through it as well. But we have a mature locker room. We have players that have gone through it, some of them for 20 years. And I fully expect our focus to be on the team and on each other while we're at the rink. And then once we're away, I hope they get away from the game a little bit and enjoy their families and the time of year.
Assuming that Artie checks back in today, what do you want to see from him as he works his way back?
Artie will check back in today, and you know, I've been asked this question 100 times, so I'll answer it the same way with you know, consistency. He's got a shot. There's got to be a lot more to his game than just the shot, and we've seen good chunks of that this year. And we need to see it now. He's been obviously sick, and he looks energized and excited about playing, so I think we're going to have a hell of a player tonight. We're counting on it.
Can you describe, Todd, I know you talked in the post-game after the game the other night, but Moverara, I mean, it almost looked like he didn't miss a beat even though he hasn't played a lot.
I think that's a real fair assessment. He is a real good supporting piece right now because he can do that. He can miss some games and go in and play, and his attitude, his personality, his energy is all positive. And then he knows who he is. He goes in and just plays his game no matter what the opponent is, and that's a good thing. Sometimes when players are out for a while, they think they've got to hit a whole bunch of home runs to stay in the lineup. Jacob just does his thing.
What does he do alongside Matt Roy that maybe makes it easier for Matt or vice versa? Like, how do they complement each other?
Well, Jacob's, again, he knows his range. He doesn't play safe. He plays aggressive, but within his own means, and he breaks up a lot of plays. He's pretty good around the net. Sneaky offensive. He can find people through the neutral zone on outlet passes. So they complement each other. You know, the hands match up. The experience together in the past, it's existed a little bit. So all those things are positives.
Seems like a group that keeps the mood relatively light, even though there has been a couple of losses. Is that a good thing that there is that, maybe, I don't know, ability to not be dwelling on it, or is it?
Well, you know, that might be your feel. I feel or sense that we're disappointed in our performance the other night, and I think that's important to acknowledge and recognize that it wasn't where we wanted it to be, and we're pulling ourselves out of a hole right now. Not a deep hole, but a rut, similar to what we had to do at the beginning of the year. It happens to all teams. The really good ones get themselves out and they straighten things out quickly. What's in the way? The opponent. And the opponent that we play tonight, they're working for everything right now. an 11-1 swing in our last 2 games. Obviously, we've watched every goal, and they're working goals. They're not simple goals. So it's a good challenge for us to dig our way out of that rut.
Another quick question. You said post game about playing in pieces.
Mhm.
Like you guys played in pieces last game. How would you not do that tonight? Like what would make that not exist? I guess. Poor way to ask that.
Yeah,
but you know
well,
what I mean.
no, I think I know what you're asking
Yeah.
me is we typically play in units of 5, generally fairly fresh. You almost have to have the puck to do that, whether you're controlling it and you get fresh guys on the ice or not. You got to get ahead in a shift. If you're chasing it and playing in your end, you struggle to do that. So there's 2 ways of doing it, but it's also the understanding of executing the change and getting fresh. And early in the year, you heard me use the word game management, and we've been really good. I thought the peak or the pinnacle was in Montreal in the 3rd period. And since then, starting on the island in the 3rd period, it hasn't quite been where it needs to be.
With Seattle, have you seen, like in the last couple of years, even in this year's play, have they evolved? Has their game changed in any way?
Yeah, they're a hard-working, in-your-face team, and that's their identity. That's how they play. Are there systematic changes? Maybe small ones, but they had a lot of success in the past doing what they do. And there's always small things that get adjusted, but they're a hard-nosed team.